qualification as a skilled craftsman. And it depends on what kind of company you start in. And usually, if you've only been working with HFCs, you would shy away from working with propane or with ammonia. So we got a problem with skilled craftsmen actually wanting to work with the stuff. And a different problem is that the best craftsmen disappear into the oil, as we say. They never return. In the oil industry, they work 2 hours, 2 weeks, they're home 4 weeks, and they get paid double. How can we match that as contractors? So we lose a lot of competence into the oil industry. So all this, that means that most people do just what they've been used to doing. But Statsburg has a different, as responsible for the development and maintenance of public buildings. They actually had a policy document that stated that all refrigeration equipment in buildings bigger than 1,000 square meters should use natural refrigerants. Amazingly, this did not trigger the industry to move towards natural refrigerant. It just left Statsburg totally exasperated with a lot of willing to learn. But for us that actually wants to work with naturals, is gold lying in the street. We do see a small change in as the younger people come out, more dedicated to move into the business. My conclusions on the Norwegian experience is that policies drive the industry towards naturals, but it's not effective. The reason for this is primarily the lack of competence in the entire industry, and that results in that poor advice is given to end users, and the end users, we cannot expect them to know anything, so they take the advice as on face value. Combined with a very rich society, the cost of refrigerants is just a nuisance and not really a problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex and Gert, for sharing your experiences from Norway and Denmark. And let me invite the next speaker, Vasilij Konkov, to brief us on the Super Smart project, an EU-funded project for energy-efficient solutions in supermarkets. Vasilij, please take the floor.
Okay, thank you, Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to speak during the 47th International Congress I attend Belgrade. To be honest, it's difficult to have a presentation after these two experts, so I will try my best. So this presentation today is about it's about the Super Smart project. This project is for energy-efficient supermarkets by awareness raising, knowledge transfer, and pre-preparation of an EU eco-label. So, as I said previously, it's an EU-funded project under Horizon 2020 program. It started February this year. It will last for 36 months, and totally 9 partners are involved in this project. You can see the names of the partners, leading by the Norwegian Institute, SINDA. So as I said, 9 partners coming from different regions, countries of Europe. We have Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and from Macedonia, from the Balkans. So SuperSmart is a project to speed up the uptake of energy-efficient refrigeration, heating and cooling solutions. So it's focused on the supermarkets in Europe as a region. It should identify and remove non-technical barriers to reduce the energy use of the supermarkets, to lower the environmental footprint of the whole store, increase economical benefits, and also interesting to pre-prepare a draft version of EU eco-label for the supermarkets. So what is the current status of the supermarkets in Europe? we're saying, and we heard yesterday and today, that they are available already energy efficient solutions for refrigeration, heating and cooling. They are based on natural refrigerants, but they are not still widely implemented in large extent in every country or in every region in Europe. So what are these barriers that are preventing these technologies to be more involved? Also, what are the challenges in the European supermarket sector is that first we should avoid the high first cost of the new equipment. And then by that, then we also have to prove that the new equipment will have less energy consumption. Also, we should reduce the overall environmental footprint, and also to find interesting parties that will be interested to be more involved, meaning to supply, design, install, and maintain equipment on natural refrigerants. But I'm saying also in whole Europe, in every country in Europe. So aims of this project is to first remove the non-technical barriers and to help every supermarket stakeholder to implement more efficient, environment-friendly technology. Mainly, there are three main tasks in this project. First is removing the barriers through different kinds of workshops, seminars. Also, to develop trainings that will start from 2017 that will be free of charge to every interested supermarket stakeholder in Europe. The second task is to support on the development of the EU eco-label. So it means to make a product group proposal, then to develop a certain label criteria, which means we need involvement of different supermarket stakeholders that can actively participate and give contribution to this project. And also the third task is to communicate and disseminate all the information throughout this 3 years project that will be done to be widely available on the market. So first, on the first task, how to remove the non-technological barriers. We do know, of course, that there are certain barriers in Europe, but we didn't know how they impact in different regions of Europe. Also, we don't know each stakeholder what are their point of view on each barrier, and also what they propose as a certain measure to overcome this barrier. So in that case, it was developed a survey. It was launched 18th of April, it lasted for 2 months, and it was translated on 6 different languages. It was widely communicated for 2 months, and we had almost 180 questionnaires from different people coming from 80%, almost 80% of the answers came from respondents from EU, and 10% were from the US companies. Different profiles of stakeholders, end users, designers, components, suppliers, and so on. There were several questions on what are the barriers and what are the results, or what are the proposals how to overcome these barriers. I will just give you an example how, for one barrier, meaning what is the importance of energy efficiency. So you can give an average score from 1 to 5, almost 100%, the top score of 5 answered from the food retail and single store owner. Then also you can see the average score of 4 to other profiles of responders, that the importance of energy efficiency is on the top score. Also another question was, what is the accepted payback time for every new investments in energy efficiency? 50% said that up to 3 years, but also 42% answered that up to 6 years is a reasonable payback period for any investments in energy efficiency. All the results from this survey you can download and see in the SuperSmart website. Then these are the short conclusions of this barrier survey that we had. meaning that we should promote awareness of any financial support instruments that there are existing in Europe in order to support energy efficient solution in the supermarket sector. Also, an EU eco-label as an idea was also positively accepted by everybody who filled this questionnaire. And the second task on development the draft version of EU eco-label. This eco-label draft version started when this project started. It was 4 months ago. The preliminary report will be finished in 2 months' time, end of January 2017. And as we speak, starting from the beginning of this year, also the criteria development started to progress. The final report should be finished 2018, and also the product group proposal. The end of this project is the beginning of 2019. So also regarding this matter, a survey was launched, translated in 6 different languages. We had almost 90 valid questionnaires coming from 19 European countries. You can see here from which sector had most of the participants on this survey. One of the questions was, what do you think we should be involved or included in the scope of the food retail stores, and who should be outside of the scope of the food retail stores that will be concerned under the EU eco-label scheme. So from the left side you see 99% was supermarkets, yes, in the group, convenience store, and so on. From the right side, who should be out is 82% nursing homes, hospital 86%, cafeterias 84%, and so on. Also 89% agreed that this should be used as a definition for what is a food retail store, because there on the website you can find all sorts of definition what is a food retail store. So this was agreed that it should have at least 50% of the annual turnover to the groceries inside of the store. So on the left side you see who is inside of the product group, and the right side on the screen who is outside of this product group. This also a question regarding criteria for the food retail stores. So 99% agree that energy consumption, energy saving display cabinets, and integrated solution for refrigeration and air conditioning should be definitely included as a criteria in the eco-label. On the right side you can see here that 48% said that location and accessibility of the store should be discussed, if that should be evaluated as a criteria or not. So also the results of this survey it will be available very shortly, if not maybe it's even today uploaded on the SuperSmart website. So SuperSmart partners, which I mentioned on the beginning of this presentation, will develop a draft criteria. These criteria will be based on the existing criteria that they are on the eco-label, but also the recommendation that we received, and we're still is a process of still receiving from different experts in the supermarket sector. Also, the aim of this development is the criteria for the eco-label should be applicable in whole Europe, not just on a certain part of Europe. And all the proposals, different opinions will be discussed during the labeling board assembly. The first assembly took place 2 months ago during Children exhibition in Nome, and the next one will take place in May in Opie during the IR CO2 and ammonia conference. So my voice to all of you is whoever is having any interest in this project to be involved in. Just to give you a short example, what is how should the criteria look like? It's just a recommendation. It's nothing is finalized. For example, regarding the refrigerant, you have the systems before 2020, installed after 2020 should be exclusively on halogen-free refrigerant. About decentralized plug-in systems after 2020, also exclusively on halogen-free refrigerants. Another mandatory requirement for the systems before 2020 should have at least must have GWP lower than 1,500, and for the plug-in system before 2020, it should have at least 50% on refrigerant GWP lower than 1,500. So this is just a draft proposal of one criteria concerning the refrigerants. The next slide is on concerning the system itself. For example, the energy efficiency of the system. There is one criteria. Then regarding the evaporation temperature, on which temperature level, what is the evaporation temperature, another criteria. Then what is the control on the high side pressure, what is the control on evaporating pressure, a different criteria. And one proposal is to have a point system. Of course, how supermarket owner will receive its point under this eco-label proposal is that you have, for example, points starting from 2 points up to 10 points. So let's say for criteria number 1 on the refrigeration system, if you have a median temperature equipment working on 0 degrees, you have a maximum points, or if it works on -8, which means more energy consumption, then you will have 0 points. Everything between these will have linear distribution of points. So this is one proposal how this will go on. So what are the benefits? Of course, throughout this project, as I mentioned before, there will be free of charge trainings starting from beginning from next year. Then you will have information about various water preventing the customers to buy high efficient equipment, and also you can actively participate in this eco-label development that started several months ago and will last through the next 2 years. So for the operators, it can be used to train the operators' employees regarding the environmental benefits and economical benefits of these energy efficient systems. And also concerning the EU eco-label, it can be used as an interesting tool to market your business. And end of the day, everything this is saving the cost for the supermarket business. What I would also like at the end to mention that there are very interesting reports. It was very intense work over the past 6 months. So they are already available, 7 different reports published on the SuperSmart supermarket website. They are free of charge, they are in PDF files. The reports are on different titles. First you have a mapping and segmentation of barriers for the supermarkets, then a report on eco-friendly supermarkets, different report of how to build, a different how to refurbish a supermarket, then a report on computational tools available for supermarket planning, a different report on eco-friendly operation and maintenance, and the last report on what is existing eco-label schemes for food retail stores. So I will point again, they're all in English, so you can download it immediately through the website. This is the website, you see it here on the bottom. So what's next? How you can get involved? It is my voice to you that you can actively visit first the website, see what's coming next. As I said previously, it will be the labeling board in conference in Ohrid in May. Then you can also sign up for the SuperSmart newsletter to keep in touch about every events that are following and to have active participation. This is the official email, so you can sign up here. So I think I'm, yes, at the end. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vasil, for a very concise presentation and invitation to participate in that project. Let me invite the next speaker. I think this is Alexander again, so you might have another photo. Alexander will brief us on the more recent initiative on the ODS phase out in the fishing sector. Maybe just before you start, let me mention that after this presentation, very shortly there will be the next session starting in this room, which is called Refrigeration Machines and Systems. And we have this parallel meeting of the Montreal Protocol. The refrigeration experts are welcome to join this session here on machines. But our ozone officers and ministry representatives, please be in our separate meeting room by 4:30. And I don't know whether there's coffee. If not, please go to the coffee place to pick it. But we will start at 4:30 in our room. Yeah, Alex, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This presentation I also gave in July at the open-ended working meeting in Vienna. So if some of you have been there, you might have seen it before. It is about fishing and fishing vessels, and there's a great number of numbers in it, but perhaps you will enjoy it anyway. There will be a little introduction, then a little bit about refrigerants, and then the current state of the fishery industry. Refrigerants, by the way, this is salmon that have been frozen at around -47. The smile is a little bit stiff, as you can see. We have the refrigerants, we have been talking about them extensively, but to the right you have the non-halogenated refrigerants, and to the other side you have the others. I actually, just from the negotiations around the EN 378, got a message while I was sitting here that the YF is to be considered to be moved from the A2L to B2L, just for your information. Anyway, I'll not go into details with this, you know it already. But what was interesting for the people out in the Pacific was that they already now say that the R404 is extremely expensive compared to R22. So I have made some price comparisons globally, and I put them into a table. We showed them yesterday. Here I've tried to use the same info, and it actually fits very well together, just that the Fiji and these kind of places, they pay a little bit extra for the transport, and they buy smaller smaller amounts, so it makes it slightly more expensive. But this is very good representing the values out there, and you can see 404 is about twice as expensive, and this is also the message I got from there. But you can also see 407C is even more expensive, and if I start to look at the new HFOs, it doesn't make sense, so I didn't put them in at all, because they would not consider them for 1 second. I will come back to illegal trade in a second. All this leads to what can we do, and all this also points at you can find some solutions, but for one particular type of freezing, -70 degrees evaporating, we are running into problems. And of course we can discuss, can we extend the phase out of R23 for a moment, or what do we do? Because the alternatives could be ethane, but ethane, as most of you probably know, is slightly flammable, and it burns fast. That is the biggest problem, means that it creates a bigger pressure if it explodes. But if we look at the current state of the small island states situation, they have a lot of ice machines, they make cold stores, and they also have spiral freezers and this kind of equipment, all based on R22 today. Potentially, they could also use R717, and they do to a big extent. Actually, when I was looking into all this, I found that there was a period before where they used ammonia, then they went into HFC, for a number of years.